So the other day, I fell into a rabbit hole. I started reading something called behavioral economics. I'm going to explain exactly what this means. So behavioral economics, which is basically the study of why humans being make the decisions we do, especially when money is involved. And what surprised me was not that companies knew these things, it was that I've been noticing these things my entire life without even knowing what it really meant. So today I wanted to investigate a place that I think all of us have been to, Costco. And it's not like I think Costco is manipulating people or it's evil corporation. But it's because I think Costco is a big example of how using human behavior could change how a business is even designed. So let's see if behavior economics is actually hiding in plain sight. When you first walk into Costco, it almost feels like you're walking into a warehouse. Concrete floors, metal shelves, huge boxes stacked to the ceiling, no fancy decorations. At first glance, it almost feels cheap, but that's exactly the point. When something looks expensive to operate, we expect expensive prices. But when something looks simple and industrial, our brain naturally starts believing we're getting wholesale deals. Now, whether every single item is the cheapest is not really the point. The environment creates a feeling, and that feeling influences our decision before we even look at the price tag. And this was my first realization. Behavioral economics is not just about prices, it's about perception. Have you ever noticed that everyday necessity like the eggs or the milk is always towards the back? I don't think that's an accident. Because if everyone only came in for the milk and left immediately, Costco would lose thousands of opportunities for people to notice everything else. So instead, you walk. You pass televisions, seasonal items, snacks, clothes, books, kitchen gadgets. You didn't even come for any of those. But now you've just seen them. Behavioral economics sometimes call this choice architecture, the way an environment is arranged to influence decisions without forcing them. Now, nothing is making you buy anything. The environment is just slowly shaping what you notice. Now, this one honestly just made me laugh because we all know Costco carts are enormous for whatever reason, right? The first thing I thought is, well, people buy in bulk, don't they? Now, that is true, but then I started to wonder something else. Does the size of the cart change how full it feels? Imagine putting 5 items into a normal cart. It already looks like you've bought something. Now imagine putting those same 5 items into a Costco cart. It barely looks touched. And that tiny difference changes your perception. Your brain starts thinking, I still have room left. It's fascinating that our decisions are not only influenced by what we want, but also what we see. Now, this one might be my favorite because who doesn't like free things, right? Anyway, let's say someone hands you a free sample. Technically, you don't owe them anything back, do you? But psychologically, most of us feel this tiny pullback to give something back in return. And this is the concept of reciprocity. When somebody gives us something, even if it's small, we naturally feel to give something back in return for the favor. Sometimes that means buying the product. Sometimes it means paying attention to it a little more than you would have if you didn't get the free sample. It doesn't change the decision, it just changes the perception. The sample didn't force the decision, it changed the relationship. Now 5, the membership. And this one completely changed how you even view the store to begin with. You already paid even to get in the store. And that's a small sign of commitment already. So your brain is naturally going to think, how am I going to get my money's worth? Behavioral economics have this thing called the sunk cost effect. Once we've invested something, whether that's time, money, effort, we often feel motivated to continue because walking away feels like we're wasting what we already invested. It's a subtle shift, but subtle shifts surprisingly often shape bigger decisions. Honestly, I do not think that's the most interesting question anymore. Because after learning behavioral economics, I think all of our environments are influencing us in some way. Restaurants, apps, movie theaters, social media, even our own homes. The real question is not if influence exists, it's if we even notice it. So I used to think psychology would help me understand people more, but now I feel like it helps you understand everything else around you as well. So I'm curious, the next time you walk into a store, what do you think is the first thing you'll see? Because I have a feeling once you start seeing human behavior, you can't just unsee it.